sports injuries suck. And much like any sports injury, skating is not out of the question. You can definitely hurt yourself roller skating, skateboarding, ice skating, you name it. Now, you got to understand that because roller skating is a sport, no matter how much you stretch, no matter how much you take protective measures, no matter how much you're using the right technique when it comes to doing certain styles or just doing certain moves of skating, there's always that possibility that you just might get injured. It might be the cause of from somebody else's actions. It may be something that was caused upon you from you, right? So, how do you get past those injuries? And what should you do moving forward to prevent some of these injuries that may take place? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about some of the injuries that I've dealt with in the past with roller skating. And also, ways that we could be a little bit more safe when it comes to skating. And what should you do if you do sustain an injury from roller skating? First of all, my name is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all my future Teachable Tuesdays videos. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off like this. So, funny story. This year, I actually had a rib injury. Never had a rib injury in my life, by the way. And it was from skating. I was at the roller skate rink. I was doing a 360 jump. If you wonder why I was doing a 360 jump, I do Cleveland freestyle. It involves a lot of slides, a lot of footwork, a lot of jump. Somehow I came down wrong and I felt something pull as I was going down and immediately got off the rink. I couldn't breathe that well. I was having severe abdominal pain and it hurt just to even sit down. It was horrible, y'all. I had to get rushed to the ER immediately to make sure no organs were damaged and nothing was broken. Thank God nothing was broken, but there was something in that area that was badly bruised, which was my ribs. So because of that, I had to take 6 weeks out from skating. Got some tests done recently. What came back was it's a lot of cartilage in that area, so it's a lump around near where my rib is at, and it's cartilage. But there's some more tests that my doctor wants to get done as a result from my injury, just to make sure it's nothing else. But it's nothing super serious, praise God. But this is not the first time I've hurt myself on skates. Yes. The year prior to this, I actually had a light sprain to my ankle. I was doing another jump. This time it was a back 360 and came down wrong and ended up limping out of the skating rink. Now, I didn't go to the hospital because it wasn't too bad, but it did severely affect my skating to the point where it was 2 weeks out from the International Skate World Series here in Orlando, and it was very difficult for me to skate that whole week. In fact, out of all the 5 nights that skating was going on, I was only able to skate 2 of those nights, which sucked really bad. So at least this year I was able to skate all 5 nights because I spent a little bit more time recovering. And then the year before that, I hurt myself during the Skate World Series because I was doing a half split, came down wrong, got up, tweaked my ankle. So as you can see, it's a common thread here. I'm always hurting myself. But, a lot of this can be prevented. But first, before we talk about the preventions, let's talk about what happens if you do get injured, right? So what can you do, or what should you do when sports injuries come, more specifically from roller skating, ice skating, skateboarding, so on and so forth? Number one, you want to listen to your doctor. Whatever your doctor says to do it, okay? If your doctor says you need to be out from skating for 2 to 3 months, do it. If it's a year, do it. Now, how long that is depends on the severity of the injury. Obviously, if it's a bruise or a sprain, it's going to be a little less time. If something is shattered or broken, it's going to be a lot more time, all right? And it depends on what body part we're talking about. If it's a bruised rib, like in my case, I was out for about 6 weeks. If it's a broken rib, you're probably going to be out for about 3 to 4 months, depending on how many ribs you broke. If it's a broken ankle, you're going to be out for about a good year. All right? So it depends on the body part and the severity of the injury. All right? But please, listen to your doctor. I don't care if you find yourself healing a lot faster than the doctor thought you would. If that's the case, praise God. But even still, it's better to be safe than sorry, because your health is more important than skating. You will always have more time to skate, but you will delay that time of returning if you don't follow instructions. So that's number one. Number two, as you are in the healing process, don't push yourself more than what you should. Okay? When I had my rib injury, I had to literally start back from square one in terms of my workouts, right? Because I wasn't just roller skating. I was in the gym. I was walking and running. I was playing basketball, right? All that good stuff. I couldn't run for about 3.5 weeks. And even when I hit that 4th week, I had to do a light jog, and even that would irritate my rib area from time to time because it was just too much. You know what I'm saying? Even still, at this point, which I'm about almost 2 months beyond the time where I injured myself, and I still can't do sit-ups just yet without it hurting. Now, there's another issue that's going on. It's not just my ribs. That's a whole nother story for another day. But the point is, you got to take your time, and your time frame in terms of full recovery is going to be different than somebody else's. It might say time frame 6 to 8 weeks. You might need a little bit longer than that in order to get everything up to the full capacity. All right, so don't push yourself more than you should. Be easy with yourself. And last but not least, which is going to go into my next section, make sure that when you return, you are taking preventative measures to avoid injury again. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, sometimes when you injure yourself, it's not your fault, okay? Sometimes it was injury from somebody else. Maybe you were skating next to somebody, they bumped into you, knocked you down. Maybe you were trying to avoid hitting somebody and then you ended up hitting something else. That happens. I've seen plenty of times where skaters had somebody fall on the floor and the only time they had to react was to jump over that person. It's not necessarily always the safest thing to do, but you never know what your body's going to do until that time comes. So what can you do to prevent or help prevent certain injuries from skating? Number one, stretch. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You should always be stretching before you go skating, all right? I don't care how long the stretch is, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Shoot, I've gotten to the point where now I start to do yoga stretches for like 15 minutes before I hit the rink. Why? Because I want to make the most out of my experience with skating, and I want to make sure that I'm nice, loose, and limber so I'm ready to go and achieve my goals for that night at that rink or that day if I'm going to a park or something, right? So please make sure you stretch. Stretching helps prevent a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries come about from not stretching. Cramps, not stretching, things of that sort, okay? Number two, make sure you practice correct technique. Maybe you have a certain style that you skate with. JB, Cleveland freestyle, Cali style, New York, New Jersey, shuffle, jam and shuffle, I should say. No matter what, you need to make sure that you are doing the right techniques when it comes to skating. Even if you don't have a style, still making sure that you do correct techniques can prevent a lot of injuries. Why? Because it shows that, number one, you're getting the most out of the move. Number two, you're doing it efficiently. And number three, you're doing it to where you're not causing harm to any parts of your body. That's extremely important, especially when it comes to Cleveland freestyle. You know, like I said, it's a whole lot of jumping, a whole lot of footwork, a whole lot of slides. If you're not careful, you can seriously injure yourself. So correct technique is definitely going to be key. And last but not least, number three, in terms of preventing injuries, make sure you take your time. Make sure you're taking time to warm up. Don't just get out in the rink or get outside at the park or wherever you might be skating at and just go full throttle, off rip. Ease your way into skating. Just like you know how you warm up when you work out in the gym, or you should, or you maybe might warm up before you go for a run at times. It's the same thing with skating. Warming up is going to be key to having not only a successful skate night, but a safe skate night. If you go out and you just start skating at a park or the skating rink at night or whatever the case may be, and you're just going full force, you know, yeah, the adrenaline's going to be pumping, but you're not going to have time to fully adjust to the climate, and therefore there's a possibility that you could hurt yourself, okay? So these are things that I want you guys to really consider, all right? That's why it's important if you are going to a function, get there within an early enough time. Of course, if you're just going outside to skate, then make sure you also have plenty enough time before you have to do anything else so you can warm up, get into your regular routine, and then go from there, all right? So I hope that helps. At the end of the day, yes, skate injuries suck, like many sports injuries, but there's ways that it can be prevented, and if it does happen, there's ways that you can bounce back stronger than ever, all right? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you would like more skate tips, let me know, and I'll do another video. I'm not an expert, but I can teach you what I know. And until next time, much love, y'all. Peace.